Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Today we're going to be talking about foreknowledge. Is foreknowledge causative or not? So, from the thumbnail, you see like these two individuals. They are talking about is Leighton Flowers, I think Dr. Leighton Flowers, and him and Dr. James White. They've been going on about for years now. The whole issue about predestination, how are you saved, and those whole thing. Dr. James White is a Calvinist, and this Dr. Leighton Flowers is a Armenian or something similar. So now I saw this video they made about is foreknowledge causative, and there's been this idea that foreknowledge is not causative, and I'm like, how is foreknowledge not causative? Okay, what does it even mean? What does foreknowledge even mean? You know, this is one of the reasons some people don't like philosophy. Whenever we want to talk about concepts and we have presuppositions that are not the same, of course we're going to come to different conclusions. So imagine someone who is an open theist, or he has a conception of process, like or someone that doesn't believe that God is timeless. If you don't believe God is timeless, even God himself, that God is not time, that God is in time too. If you hold on to that kind of notion, there is no future to be known. You cannot have foreknowledge of something that doesn't exist yet. So for the open theist, this makes sense. There is no foreknowledge. There's nothing to be known in the future. You can kind of predict what's going to happen or try to influence what's going to happen, but you cannot know definitively what's going to happen in the future. But if you believe that God is not in time, or you believe that God created time, your own answer is going to be different, of course. And another thing is that if you want to really hold on to this idea of foreknowledge, so foreknowledge for the open theists would make no sense. So for them, foreknowledge is not causative because there is no even foreknowledge in the first place. But if you believe in a real version of foreknowledge, what you're supposed to do is the idea that God knows things before they happen in our own point of view. So in our own experience of time, God already knows what's going to happen from the beginning to the end. You know, so if God already knows that, there is no notion of is not causative or something else is going to happen. Nothing can change that knowledge. Nothing is going to change that. Now, you might say this is like a very Calvinistic idea or kind of deterministic. Of course, that's what it's going to, theistic determinism. That's what it's going to lead to. However, it doesn't mean that the person that is a theistic determinist cannot find a way to explain somehow some kind of free will, or how you can attack him based on that. That okay, you don't have free will, and it's gonna be like, yeah, I don't affirm libertarian free will anyway. But the point is not that. The point is that if you want to hold on to, either you give it up. You see, I think the Calvinist or theistic determinist, they should give up trying to defend free will in a concrete sense. So when you are in a discussion with someone that holds on to libertarian free will, don't be arguing about free will as if you believe in free will the way he's thinking about it. You need to clarify, like, I don't believe in free will like that. So and the same way, so your own as a theistic determinist, what you're giving up is the idea, a strong notion of free will. You're giving that up, like, I'm done, I don't care about this now, this free libertarian free will, because it's going to limit God's power, and you're thinking about all those things. The other flip side is that if you're going to hold on to libertarian free will, you cannot still hold on to the traditional God that knows things before they happen. You're going to become an open theist eventually. That's the most consistent way. If you now try to stay in the middle, your position will be indefensible. You'll just be making distinctions that don't work. Eventually they will collapse. So you start talking about necessity. All those things don't work. If we go and check it and we analyze it closely, you will see that if you are from as long as both of us, the theistic determinists and you, they have the same idea of foreknowledge, what are you talking about is not causative anymore. And especially if you bring God into the picture. If you bring the idea of God, the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipotent creator, sole creator. Are you a creator? No. So if you bring in this idea of God being omnipotent, nothing can happen except God allows it to happen. You might say that's a kind of already presupposing the deterministic part, but the point is that foreknowledge is to be able to say things before they happen, to know things that This is like a timeline from T0 to T100. Let's say that's the entire timeline. T0 to T100. God is the creator of all of it, and He knows it. How does God know how does God know everything? Because He created it. Okay, that's one answer to it. But to me, is that how can you affirm foreknowledge and still be talking about some kind of openness? What you're trying to, when you say foreknowledge is not causative, you are trying to create an open space for something different to happen. Because what is the point? What is the point of saying that the foreknowledge is not causative? Are you trying to affirm free will? The theistic determinists can also affirm some kind of you have free choice. You choose from your own first person perspective. You're choosing. You have A and B, and you get to choose which one you want. The one that you know you have that free will. That's the one. Even the atheists, they talk about some kind of, everyone is aware that they are somehow free, but it seems to be that we are not free, but we know we are free from that first person subjective awareness. So that's not even an issue. It's not like, because I'm a theistic determinist, now I don't have any choice. Bro, let me show you. See, it's here now, right? I can put it here, and then I put it here again. I put it here. I put it here. I put it here. This, what I'm doing, it doesn't make any sense, right? But I'm choosing to do things. I'm choosing. See, I hold it, I drop it. Isn't that a choice? I'm trying to pick it up. I change my mind. I'm not picking it up again. Now, does that mean I'm not a theistic determinist? Somehow I don't have free will. I have free will, in the sense that I'm aware of this, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't known. It doesn't mean, because what we are trying to protect, remember, everyone has what they are trying to protect. The guys that emphasize on free will, they are trying to protect some kind of God, morality, and how can God hold us responsible? That's what they are really trying to protect. And we are kind of theistic determinists, what we are trying to protect is God's power and God's sovereignty. So any side you go to, know that you are giving up something. That's why the theistic determinists, they will be very kind of blunt and say, you know what, God can do whatever He wants with His creation. We affirm God's power over everything. We affirm God's sovereignty over everything. God can literally do whatever He wants. It cannot be questioned. See, we are holding. But the other side is that if you go to the other side, all of that has to be weakened. If not gone, it has to be weakened. And it will start getting weakened gradually. You start saying things like, but God cannot do that. Of course God wouldn't do that. Right? He wouldn't do this. You start going to that direction because you want to affirm free will. And you want to hold creation responsible. That God is not the one, we are responsible somehow. You see? So I see both of them from both sides, what they are trying to do. And these are the presuppositions that is behind the mind of anyone talking about this issue of determinism. The guy that is a theistic determinist, he wants to affirm God's power and sovereignty, and he wants to hold a very high view of God. And even though he might not be able to explain what's going to happen to humans, and he kind of leaves it to God, like, let God do whatever He wants with His creation. Like, he would rather lose that the human aspect and preserve God, kind of thing. But the other side, they will kind of hold on, and if you continue that long enough, you might become an atheist. Be like, someone has to go here. Is either you or God, and then you let go. But it's not even polemical, by the way. It's true, because sometimes I've been shifted to one side, sometimes I come back, and then I realize what I was doing when I was trying to affirm free will is all about responsibility. How do we hold man responsible then? If God determined everything, if God knew everything from the beginning, how are we responsible? All those kind of questions. Remember, what really matters is that, and I've said it, I've been open about this. Whatever it is, I don't want to be on the wrong side of God. So me, I just give power back to God. He is in charge of everything. He knows everything before it happens. He created everything. There is no second creator. We are not kind of, God determined everything. And the Islamic aspect is just very clear. And you know this already. But even the Christians, I want to show you that if you want to hold on to real foreknowledge, forget about it not being causative. Because God is the one that creates everything. So, anyway, Just wanted to share my opinion on this thing. The next time someone tells you and if anyone thinks like foreknowledge is not causative, please put it in the comment section. Let me see what you guys think. See you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.